Thanks for joining us. We're glad that you're here for Shabbat. And it seems as if we are having a bit of a problem with our internet, but I think things are working now. Sometimes that happens. Lately, just about everybody in the whole world has been having problems with the internet because we've been forced to be inside and staying a little bit away from each other. But I'm glad that you're here and joining us for Shabbat. And you know, one of my favorite things is to pretend to light candles with you. So maybe you've got candles at home, maybe you're with your mom or your dad or somebody else, and perhaps they have candles and they can light actually, but we can't do that. But we're going to see it inside ourselves. Remember, we kind of wave and bring the symbolic light into who we are. And we say, Lahalik ner shel Shabbat, we give thanks to God for candles. Our voices rise in song together, as our joyful prayer is said, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahalik ner shel Shabbat. And we open our eyes, and the flames are here, and we say, whoo, we're bringing light into the room. And the next part is saying the Borei Pri Hagafen over the Shabbat juice. And maybe you've got some Shabbat juice with you at home. I hope so. Borei Pri Hagafen, we give thanks to God for Shabbat juice. Our voices rise in song together, as our joyful prayer is said, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei Pri Hagafen. That is just delicious. And now comes the best part of all. You know what's underneath this cloth, right? Is it a peanut butter sandwich? No, it's not a peanut butter sandwich. It's challah. But any piece of bread will do. And we say, Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread or challah. Our voices rise in song together, as our joyful prayer is said, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Always tastes better when I'm with you. And in my head, in my mind, I'm picturing you. Do you know what this is? If you've been here before, you've probably heard me say, this is a pushka. This is a special box where we put tzedakah. And tzedakah is a way of helping people or animals. But once we put the money into the tzedakah box or the pushka, it's not ours anymore. We don't take it out of the pushka or the tzedakah box to play with or to spend. That is very special money. And once your tzedakah box is full, then it's up to you and your family to decide where to donate the money, to share it with somebody else. Isn't this an enormous pushka? Look at this pushka. It's got a pretty picture on it, but it's almost as big as some of you. Penny in the pushka, penny in the pot. We give tzedakah just before Shabbat. Nickels, dimes, and quarters, anything will do. It's good to give tzedakah, that's what we need to do. Penny in the pushka, penny in the pot. We give tzedakah just before Shabbat. Nickels, dimes, and quarters, anything will do. It's good to give tzedakah, that's what we need to do. And because of a holiday that came up just a little while ago, we're thinking about Israel. This is Dinosaur Goes to Israel. It's Mkar Ben, written by Diane Rauchberger and pictures by Jason Wolf. And maybe you can see the pictures. I'm leaving for a visit to Eretz Israel. Dino begs to come along. He's waggling his tail. We climb aboard the airplane. He takes 3 seats and more. He must be very comfy. The whole plane hears him snore. When we land in Tel Aviv, our cousins take us home. Toda Rabbah, I thank them. Dino says shalom. We drive around the city and Dino sees the sand. He begs to get out at the beach, his bucket's in his hand. For lunch we eat falafel with salad, chips and pickles. I wipe some, it dribbles off his chin. He laughs and says it tickles. Our next stop is Jerusalem, and Dino is so tall. He tucks his prayer way up high atop the Western Wall. Do you see the Western Wall? We'll talk about that in just a moment. Dino stops to chat with camels as we hike around a lot. He invites them to go snorkeling, but they say they'd rather not. I hike up Mount Masada. Dino hikes a snaky path. We cool off at the Dead Sea. He enjoys his mud bath. Our last stop is the busy shuk to buy a souvenir. Dino picks a shofar to blow on Rosh Hashanah. That's the new year. And when we're finally home again, Dino starts to wail, when can we go back again to Eretz Yisrael? Eretz Yisrael is the land of Israel. It's the country of Israel. And you might have noticed on this book, the flag, this is the flag of Israel. See, it's blue and white with a blue star. It's called a Magen David, a Star of David in the center. And I'm sure you've noticed by now that we have a flag of Israel up here next to the Aron HaKodesh and next to the American flag, because we are very proud of being Americans and we're very proud of being Jewish. And part of being Jewish is being connected to the land of Israel. And you might see here on this gold door the bricks that remind you of the Western Wall, which is in Jerusalem. It is one of the oldest parts of being Jewish ever. The part that you and I can see is 2,000 years old. 2,000. And the part below ground goes to the very, very, very beginning of what we call the time period of the first temple, and it sits on the spot that's 3,000 years old. It's in Israel. Israel's the name of the country. Jerusalem is the name of the city. The Hebrew is Yerushalayim. That's the name of the city, Yerushalayim. And the Hebrew name for the country is Yisrael. And Yerushalayim in Yisrael, or Jerusalem in Israel, is so important that we have pictures of places up here on the Aron, and we have the flag, and we even think about Yisrael, Israel, when we're singing our songs and doing our prayers. And now, my best favorite part is the time when you stand next to your moms or your dads or your grandparents or whoever's nearby, and we say a bracha, we say a blessing over you. A bracha is a way of having God come close and paying attention to you. So for boys we say, Yesimcha Elohim ke'Ephraim v'chemenashe. May God make you the way God made Ephraim and Menashe. For girls we say, Yesimech Elohim ke'Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah. May God make you the way God made Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. And for both our boys and girls and their daughters and sons, or granddaughters and grandsons, we say, Yevarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and watch over you and guard you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God lift up God's face to you, to be close to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God turn God's face to you and grant you peace. And may you have health and peace and happiness and safety and love. Thank you for joining us. Take good care of your parents. Give them a hug from you and from me, if you don't mind sharing a hug. And until we see each other again soon, we say, bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, ya da 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 da, bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, hey, Shabbat, Shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imro, Imro, Amen, Yaseh Shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael ve'imro amen. Shalom chaverim, shalom chaverim, shalom, shalom. Lehitraot means see you later. Lehitraot, lehitraot. Shalom, shalom, shalom chaverim, shalom chaverim, shalom, shalom. Lehitraot, lehitraot. Shalom, shalom. Goodbye, dear friends. Goodbye, dear friends. Goodbye, goodbye. Until we see each other, until we see each other. Shalom, shalom. Toda Rabah means thank you very much. Toda Rabah for joining in, for bringing your family in. And always remember that God loves you very much. And from the shul, I send you my love. I love you. I want the best for you. And we want health and happiness and peace. Lehitraot until we see each other again. Goodbye.